We're going to talk about something really cool in this video that I have some thoughts on. But first, I want to bring you into my MUT lineup screen. And it's going to make sense here in a minute why. Let's talk about this for a second. If we look at this, I'm recording this on June 18th. If we look at my lineup is fine, right? It is not great, but it is fine. Okay, we have Aiden Hutchinson, J.J. Watt still on the team, Zayvon Collins. You know, we have a few good cards, a few like top-end cards, and, you know, offensive lines, whatever, Algie Crumpler, wide receivers or whatever, Brees Hall. It is a fine team. It is not the very best team, right? I have 1.1 million coins. I have nothing in my binder that I can really sell. 600K trading. And I want you guys to see that I am level 4. My season level is 4. And that's very important. I am not a MUT guy. I am purely a gameplay guy. And the very best gameplay, the most competitive, the highest level players play MUT. It just is what it is. So I play MUT as a result of that. I really hope that changes, at least in college football 25, where we see some of the ranked, the road of college football playoffs get a little bit more played. But that is what it is. Conversation for another day. I do play MUT, but I'm not a super MUT sweat in terms of the menus. But there is something I realized very recently that EA's done that I'm like, holy crap, like they actually did this. And this is insanely good for the game and for everybody involved in this. So I want to explain my process of how I get good at the game. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Civil. I've played Madden professionally for 5 or 6 years now. I've won tens of thousands of dollars, been able to travel the country playing this game. I've been very, very blessed to be able to do so. And the way I get good at the game and then handle that and like use that for the rest of the year is whenever there's a competitive event with the top pro Madden players, I will focus and lock in on gameplay around that time, get good to compete with the top pros, and then I'll use that and just coast until the next event is. So, the last event was Mutthead League back in March, which contained 16 of the best Madden players in the world. We all played in a league. It was awesome. Bunch of videos on this channel of us playing in that. And I super try-harded to get good at that league. And I told myself, cool, we try-harded. That league's over. I won't have to try hard to get good at gameplay for the next 3 months, 4 months, whenever this game ends. I can just play the game. I found myself the other day in practice mode labbing against bottleneck in man coverage. I have never labbed this deep into the year unless it was purely for fun and just messing around looking for dumb stuff. Literally ever. It's never been necessary. But the boys over at EA, again, I'm going to talk about some gripes I have in this video as well. Don't relax. But they have actually found a way where in June, deep into June, they have completely and totally changed the defensive and the overall gameplay meta. Think about that for a second. They genuinely have. Man coverage was bad. Man coverage was terrible ever since, like, what, September or October, whenever they patched the loop. And the man cover wasn't even that good back then. It was just the loop blitz would help it out so much. So let's think about that. We went so long, and now it's back. But then I realized, wait a second, Civil, you labbed how to stop Heavy Raven the other day. Like 2 weeks ago, you were labbing how to stop Heavy Raven. And I'm like, oh, crap, dude. They've actually found a way to create a dynamic and changing meta 10 months into the game. And that is something that has not been done before in Madden, as far as I know. Now, sometimes the meta will shift a little bit just to, like, random nonsense, which really isn't worth, like, even spending time, like, labbing because it's just not that good. But no, this bottleneck stuff and the Heavy Raven stuff, and even, let's think about this for a second. For about a 2-week period, give or take, everybody got Omaha on their quarterback. That changed the meta for a little bit, right? That was a massive change. I didn't like it, but it was a change, right? I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying it was a change. We can all agree on that. And then they dropped Aiden Hutchinson to totally wipe that out, which then changed the meta right back. And not only did it change the meta for Omaha's, it stopped the angry run stuff, or a lot of the angry run stuff. It stopped some of the Vanguard stuff. You guys see what I'm getting at here. It turned off the X Factor, or the pre-lit X Factors, which were drastically changing the gameplay in May and April. You see what, like, this is, they're actually, the ability system, for as much as I hate the ability system and don't love how it's currently set up, I'm going to talk about why here soon, it is working in the fact that it is changing the game, and we should be happy about this. And I can personally vouch and say that numbers across Madden and Ultimate Team seem to be better than they ever have been, of people being more engaged this deep into the year, people watching more stuff this deep into the year, and just being overall just, like, happy to be in MUT. They're releasing more content deeper into the year than I feel like ever before. And we should be happy that the gameplay is changing because, truthfully, Nobody wants to play the same game every single month, right? Like, as much as we, bitch and moan, and I do it too. Watch my videos. Um, as much as we, bitch and moan about the game changing and, not liking it or whatever, if the game stayed the same from August to August to July, that game's boring. That game sucks. One of my biggest issues with Madden 23 is that a lot of my setups, literally day one, I dropped gun tight. I started running gun tight day one. I ran that a lot of the same plays in a tournament that I won in April. That sucked. That was not fun. I was beating the same defense, running the same plays. That was stupid. And this game is just not that. It is creating a dynamic gameplay experience, which is insane. Now, some of the stuff I don't like about the current ability system. I find this stuff. I don't know how to do it correctly, 100%. But I'm a huge advocate for keeping everything as dumb as possible. I am not a very smart man. I was in college. I was put on academic probation. They said, "Hey, buddy, we know you just gave us all of your money, but guess what? You are so dumb. We still can't take you." Oh, they warned that at least. But I'm a huge advocate for keeping everything as stupid as possible, and I cannot keep up with all the different ability stuff that happens in this game now. Right? Things from different passive abilities, things from different baked in abilities, different ability discounts, different X factors, all this stuff. I feel like the only way to have an understanding of who's going to get what is to actually look at the card, which is so unscalable and unsustainable and you can't expect. If I'm somebody who plays this game every day and is on Twitter every day for Madden Twitter and I'm having troubles, I cannot imagine what a lot of you guys are feeling right now trying to keep up with Mutt, and that makes it a bad gaming experience. Even if we are changing the gameplay, which I think is good, it creates a bad experience. So somehow we have to simplify this process. I don't love every player having 8 abilities, although I think that I could get used to it if I could have a better understanding of who's going to get what discounts are going to happen, and somehow we gotta level the playing field to where a card like Vince Young, at the very least, makes sense. I guess maybe he does make sense somehow in Heavy Raven, I guess. I don't know. But there's just certain cards that come out. It's like, oh, this card literally just based on his ability buckets. This card will never, ever, ever get used. And I think that kind of sucks. Although the same thing's always been in Madden, if you think about it, where there's been times where, oh, just because of this guy's speed, he can't be on the field, right? So that is interesting, dude. For all the gripe that we give the ability system in Madden, I don't know if the ever-changing gameplay like this could happen without the ability system unless they patch the game. Seriously, that's how that stuff would happen typically. This late into the year. And if you've played Madden for a few years, you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about, where the game pretty much stays the same after a certain point. Literally a couple days ago, or like yesterday or 2 days ago, I was labbing Bottleneck. A couple weeks ago, I was labbing Vanguard. And I've had to lab other stuff too. Nickel 33 Cub just came out as a bit more of a meta. I don't know, man. It's just interesting. I think it's something I want to talk about, and it is a little bit, in my opinion, like kind of proof of concept of the ability system doing a little bit of what they're aiming for. And so I don't know, man. Like that's cool. I would also like abilities to work the way they read, right? I hate when I find out an ability doesn't read a way, but like it works in a way, right? An example of that would be, I guess, double me is one of the best ways to beat Bottleneck. And I'm just curious about something. Let me see what double me actually reads. Wins aggressive catches versus single coverage. When it like this will help him when it's passive or built on or whatever. It'll help him actually beat the press, which is like, well, that's not what that says. I'm curious your guys' thoughts though, dude. Like, cause I was genuinely thinking about this earlier. I just thought it was like a cool concept where I'm like, love abilities or hate abilities. Like, this game's changing.